Hello, my name's Pedro, and I'm a 32-year-old woman. Today I want to tell you about a life-changing event in my life. But before that, I need to introduce you to my younger sister, Sunny. I have two other sisters, and while the three of us get along really well, we don't share the same bond with her. Sunny was the golden child that my parents spoiled senselessly. There was never a request of hers that was denied. In the meantime, my sister and I had to fight for what we wanted. That did not create the healthiest dynamic in our family. Sonny was especially rude towards me because I had everything she wanted. Effortless good looks, good grades, and I was able to do any task really well regardless of my experience in it. She essentially made my life hell in every possible way, be it by actually bullying or ruining my relationship with my parents. So it came as no surprise for me to move out as soon as I turned 18. It was in college that I met my now ex-husband Jasper. He was in his third year of university when I was a freshman. I don't exactly remember how we got to talking, but I do remember that when we did, we clicked really well. From then on, we began dating. After I graduated from college, we decided to move in together. Around this time, I opened up to Jasper and told him about my complicated relationship with my sister and the reason why I was not too keen on ever going back home or introducing him to my family. Jasper was supportive and understanding, and I was glad for that. We waited until we both had good, stable jobs before tying the knot. We invited both our families to celebrate with us. I invited mine out of pure obligation, but I hoped really hard that they would not cause any scenes, and thankfully everything went off well. Around a year into our being married, Jasper told me that he wanted to have kids. So I was thinking, yes, I kind of want to have kids with you. Kids as in plural? I mean, yeah. Think of how cute it would be to have a couple of mini versions of us running around her. All I'm thinking about is the financial strain that would put on us and the lack of sleep we'll have. Wait, are you saying that you don't want to have kids? Jasper, I've never wanted to have kids. I grew up in a house full of kids I practically brought up, one of whom hated me for no reason. I'm terrified of being a parent. But this will be different. This time you'll have me, and you won't be a kid yourself. I promise that I'll be there with you the entire time. I don't, Jasper. It just seems like a lot. Why can't we just enjoy our time together alone? It would be way more fulfilling to see our love culminate into something that actually exists, don't you think? Fine, we can have one kid, but we need to be fully financially stable before that happens. Of course! You've made the right choice. You'll never regret it, I promise. With that, Jasper and I waited another year and a half before starting to try for a child. I got pregnant fairly fast. I still remember the look of absolute joy on Jasper's face when I told him that I was pregnant. It was a wonderful time. But then things started to get a little weird. Jasper was always very controlling about everything, right from what I ate to when I showered. I mean, yes, he took care of me really well, but at the same time, he was unlike the man that I had fallen in love with. He didn't smile or laugh much anymore. Everything felt dull. No matter how many times I tried to talk to Jasper, he just never spoke to me about it. About 3 months into my pregnancy, I became aware of how tight our budget had suddenly gotten. Jasper used to spend money lavishly without any hesitation, and then suddenly he declared a budget, and we had to stick to it. He would get cranky if I asked him to get me certain foods that I was craving because they were going out of budget. Initially, I just thought it was about him being worried that raising a child would be way more expensive than we thought. But then I realized that technically we had planned way ahead for this. We had done the proper analysis of our financial situations and only started a family when we were both more than financially stable enough. There was literally no need for Jasper to be so uptight about our spending. I remember laying in bed for nights just thinking about Jasper's odd behavior. One particular night while Jasper was away on some weekend business trip, I was stuck with a sudden thought. What if Jasper was spending money somewhere else without telling me? At first, I felt bad for thinking that way about him, but then the more I thought about it, the more his behavior began to make sense. So even though I hated snooping through his things, I logged into his bank account through my phone. As I looked through the transactions, I realized that my hunch was right. He was spending hundreds of dollars somewhere else, and all those times were when he would mysteriously disappear for work purposes. I knew they were not work-related because all these transactions were being made in places in our town. There was one particular transaction that made my heart drop. In fact, this transaction was a repeated one about 3 times a week. It was at this motel not too far from our house. I couldn't think of one good reason for Jasper to visit a motel 3 times a week. I hated the feeling of dread that took over me and the anxiety that filled me. But I knew that I had to get to the bottom of his weird behavior and excessive spending. When Jasper got home from his business trip, I continued behaving as if nothing was wrong. The next time he disappeared, I followed him. I went to the motel and asked the receptionist if a man named Jasper had booked a room. The man was uninterested enough to hand me the logbook. I flipped through the page and found Jasper's name. He had already checked in. I asked the receptionist if I could have a copy of the key card, considering Jasper was my husband. The man gave me a once-over and handed me the key card. My heart raced as I walked through the corridors to Jasper's room. I don't know what I was expecting to see, but what I saw was definitely not that. There, in bed, was my husband and my sister. They did not seem to realize that I was there, and I was so shocked that I physically could not move. Eventually, the shock wore off, and I cleared my throat to let them know that I was there. When they saw me standing there, they rushed to cover themselves up. "Pero, what are you doing here?" "I don't think you should be the one asking questions right now. What are you doing?" "What does it look like, Pero?" "Sonny." "Oh, get over it. You knew that she would find out one day anyway. Who cares that she found out now?" Are you serious right now? How long has this been going on?" "A couple of months." "By a couple of months, do you mean around the time I got pregnant with your child?" "Yeah, honestly, that was a bit of a shocker, but I managed to get Jasper to stop freaking out." "What do you mean by freaking out?" "Jasper, you were the one that wanted this kid." "I know, and I'm sorry." "Sorry will not cut it. And as for you, Sonny, you're dead to me. I never want to see your face ever again. Listen, there's no need to be so butthurt about this. I get that you're pregnant and your hormones are going crazy, but that's no reason to behave like you have a stick up your butt." "That's enough, Sonny. Honey, I'm so sorry that I did this. Can we still work things out?" "Just leave me alone for a while." I left them there in that room and made my way back to my car. I felt horrible, but I knew that I couldn't give them the satisfaction of seeing me cry. When I finally got into my car, I let myself sob. I didn't understand why Jasper would do something like that, especially because he knew about my complicated relationship with Sonny. Sonny's words were supposed to be ineffective, but somehow they hurt even more. The fact that she showed no remorse and thought that I was overreacting because I was pregnant made me feel so angry. A part of me wanted to go back in and lash out at them, but I knew better than to do that. Instead, I made my way over to my best friend Tia's house. When I got there, I collapsed into sobs in Tia's arms. She was obviously alarmed because she had assumed that something went wrong with my pregnancy. But through my sobs, I managed to tell her that it was not related to that, but it was something that was possibly worse for me. She then let me cry for a long while before finally asking me what happened after I calmed down. "What's wrong? What happened?" So I found a bunch of transactions on Jasper's card that did seem familiar, and they kind of had a routine, as in it was a transaction at the same place 3 days a week. Oh, was it for food? I wish. I got curious and found out that he was making payments at the motel near our place. Oh, no. Please tell me he was just trying to decompress or something. Oh, yeah. He was definitely decompressing with my sister. What? Which one? Please don't tell me it's... Yeah, it's Sonny. That cheating scumbag. Who the hell does he think he is to do something this bad to you, especially when you're pregnant with his child? That was not even the worst of it. Sonny was so rude. She told me I was behaving all crazy because I was pregnant. Can you believe it? I swear to God I will punch her one day. But oh my God, how are you doing right now? I really don't know. I feel so crappy and so betrayed. I had told Jasper all about my issues with Sonny, and he still went and cheated on me with her. Did he at least apologize or seem apologetic? Yeah, he did apologize. But at the time, I needed space to process what I had walked into. I don't know what to do. I think you should leave him. But I'm way too scared to raise a child all on my own. I need to have someone there with, or I'll go insane. That's fair, but I know for a fact that you will not end up being able to forget him cheating, and that will only make you hate him even more as time goes by. I know, but I just need someone there for the first year. Once I have the hang of it, I will definitely leave him. Well, all right. I'll be standing right behind you no matter what decision you take. Just remember that no matter what happens, I will be here for you and you will not be alone. Thanks, Tia. I really needed that. Tia gave me the space and time to process all my feelings. I was able to figure out what my true decision was, and I decided to stick with the plan I had given Tia. I would stay with Jasper for a year and then leave him. It hurt me to think that I was going to leave the love of my life. But what hurt even more is that the love of my life betrayed me in such a horrible manner. I went back home after 2 days with Tia. When I got there, Jasper was sitting on the couch. I did not acknowledge him, but he did follow me around for a while and kept trying to ensure that I was feeling okay. For a split second, it felt like I had my husband back, but whenever I looked at his face, all I saw were images of him and my sister in the cheap motel bed, and that was an image that was never going to leave my mind. Eventually, we settled into a rhythm. We barely spoke, but there was a silent understanding that we were going to slowly work things out between us, or so I thought. The next 2 months flew by pretty quickly. Jasper had been extra caring about me as I drew closer to my due date. He seemed excited to meet his child, and while I also shared that feeling, I also knew that pretty soon I would have to leave him. What I did not expect was to one day wake up to an empty bed and an empty house. Or at least empty of all Jasper's things. I was shocked and confused. I tried to call him, but he did not pick up. I was then panicking because out of the blue I was left all alone. I hoped Jasper would return, but by the end of the day it became clear that he had left me. I called Tia over and she stayed with me while I once again processed all the intense emotions that I was feeling. It did not help that the baby was constantly kicking and ruining my sleep schedule. I was a mess through and through. One day, about a week and a half after Jasper left, Tia exclaimed from the couch and ran over to me, almost falling flat on her face in her shock to tell me what she had found out. "Oh my God, Pedro, you are not going to believe this." Whoa, what's going on? I was just scrolling through Facebook and I happened to come across this post by Sunny. Why are you trying to show me a post about Sunny? You know how she's a sensitive topic right now. I know, but this is kind of serious and I'm actually worried about how you'd react to it, but I figured that it would be better for you to find out about it while I'm here rather than when you're alone. You're scaring me. What is it? Tia then turned her phone towards me and there was a picture of Sunny and Jasper kissing. Sunny was dressed in an elegant wedding gown while Jasper was wearing a tux. Sunny captioned the post, "Can't wait to spend forever with my forever." I felt the bile rise up in my throat. How could they? What happened to all of Jasper's care and comfort? Had he been planning to run away and get married to Sunny the entire time that he was taking care of me? Was it just a sick game for him to raise my expectations and then shatter them in the same way over and over again? I don't know how, but I managed to get myself together during the next 2 weeks. Tia was my biggest source of comfort. She helped me with everything, whether it was a physical need or an emotional one. Before I knew it, it was time for me to give birth. I gave birth to a beautiful and healthy baby girl. The moment I held her in my arms, I forgot all about the other pains I had. Nothing made me happier than her. We took our time settling into a new routine with the baby. Tia moved into my place because it was a house and the house was better than an apartment. Together, we battled endless sleepless nights and busy work-filled mornings. Tia was once again a strong shoulder to cry on. Of course, I was still very upset with Jasper and Sunny, but I knew that there was nothing I could do. Tia helped me file for divorce from Jasper, and doing that itself reopened all my wounds. But once again, through sheer willpower and support from Tia, I managed to overcome everything. The years, 7 years to be exact, passed by in the blink of an eye. I got to watch all of my baby girl's firsts, her first rollover, her first laugh, her first steps, her first words, and her first day at school. And with every first I witnessed, I felt myself heal a little more. My daughter was growing into a smart and kind kid who had this infectious smile, and I loved it. I had almost entirely forgotten about Jasper until one day I got a call from an unknown number. Hello? Hey, Pedro, it's Melody, Jasper's mother. Oh, hi, Melody. Is everything okay? Not really. I needed to talk to you about something, and I just managed to find your number. What is it? For the past 7 years, I haven't seen Jasper in person. He told me he had a child and constantly sent me pictures, but for some reason he never sent me any pictures of you, and I only found out about it a couple of weeks ago. So he didn't tell you that he cheated on me with my sister when I was 5 months pregnant? That was your sister? Yeah, she's a piece of work too. Look, I just want you to know that I'm on your side all the way. I called to ask if you'd be down to get some revenge." "Thanks a lot, but revenge? Why do you want to get revenge on him?" "I don't necessarily want to get any revenge on him, but I want to help you out. I'm sure these past few years have not been the greatest for you, and I just know that giving Jasper at least an ounce of his own medicine will make you feel better." "It has been a really long time, but I'll never not be down to teach Jasper a lesson. Count me in." "Great. I've booked my tickets and I'll be arriving there tomorrow morning. Get ready to have a lot of fun." I didn't know how she had so much confidence in me saying yes to her plan, because she already had her ticket booked, which honestly made me feel kind of nice. At the same time, learning that he had a child with my sister made me feel icky. It was a wonder that he lasted with her, when he left me right around when I was pregnant. True to her word, Melody was there in the morning, and we immediately began brainstorming how to go about getting our revenge. Melody told me that she came to town earlier because of me. Turned out that Jasper had invited her to celebrate his birthday since she knew the truth. Apparently this was going to be a big celebration, considering he also got a huge promotion, so he had invited people from work and his regular friends to attend. That explained her pre-booked tickets. So we planned out our revenge of humiliation for that day. On the day of his huge birthday party, Melody walked into Jasper's house, which was honestly fancy, and it made me even angrier. I walked behind Melody so Jasper didn't see me at first. He warmly greeted his mother before finally seeing me and turning pale. That reaction itself was satisfying for me. Melody saw his reaction too and innocently told him that she had run into me at the grocery store today and invited me over. Jasper tried to say something, but Melody quickly shut it down by claiming that I was family, so I deserved to be there. At some point, Sunny noticed me too, and her face turned into this scowl. I watched her pull Jasper to her side and ask him what I was doing there, and he just shrugged in response while looking at his mother. Eventually, Melody got everyone's attention and told them that she had something to say as Jasper's mother. Jasper looked nervous, but let her go on because everyone looked at her intently. She began to speak about how she struggled to raise Jasper as a single mom, and that she's glad to see where her son has reached in his career. I watched Jasper's shoulders relax because he thought that Melody was saying only nice things, until she wasn't. She began to talk about how he had let her down by cheating on me with my sister while I was heavily pregnant with his child. Of course, this got everyone whispering between themselves. Jasper's face paled while Sunny looked furious. To my surprise, someone else spoke up. That person was Jasper's boss. He asked Jasper if it was true, and I stepped in and said that it was. His boss told everyone about how much family and ethics mattered to him and the image of the company. He said he couldn't risk this coming out and ruining the company, so Jasper was going to be let go of. I was shocked. That was not what I was expecting to happen, yet it was satisfying to see Jasper's world come crashing down. Melody clinked her glass against Jasper's bosses and winked at him. She was just as happy with that decision. At that point, the atmosphere in the room got awkward and people started filing out. Once everyone left, Jasper and Sunny approached me. "You just had to show up, didn't you? Our lives were so much better when you weren't in it." "You will not speak to her that way. You guys deserve what you get and so much more. This is not how I raised you, Jasper. I am your son. How could you do this to me?" It's because you're my son that I even went this far. Although I no longer consider you my son, you've been disowned. When I die, Pero and her child will get everything I own. That's not fair. You took away his job and now his inheritance too? How heartless are you? You have no right to say anything. Stay out of it. Our work here is done. Goodbye, you two. And with that, we made our exit. It felt amazing to get revenge on them. I was so grateful that Melody was on my side because I would never have gotten to feel so good. Yeah, I did manage to get over the hurt of Jasper and Sonny's actions, but to see them destroyed brought me actual joy. From what I know, Sonny took their child and left Jasper behind. Serves him right, if you ask me. I stopped checking in on them after that because I felt like that was enough revenge for me. In the meanwhile, Tia and I found a bigger and better apartment to move into with my daughter. Melody and I have much more regular contact and we fly out to meet each other pretty often. Life is finally looking a lot more colorful than before, and I can't wait to see what comes next.